Hello everyone and welcome to the program Talk Sports here on Global Television. I am Samuel Odi. Many thanks for joining on today's edition of the program. Niger Delta Games concluded and Edo dethroned Bayelsa to become the regional champions of the second edition of the Niger Delta Games. Interestingly, we saw lots and lots of actions. 16 events being recorded, sporting events totally. We had participants in all of those events, and we saw scouts coming to side and have conversations with, giving some of Nigerian talents contracts to go, participate in those sporting events, respectful sporting events internationally. We'll be having those conversations. And also, we saw yesterday in the in the Europa Cup, where Nottingham Forest fell 2-1 against Fenerbahce, that's the Turkish side, and also we saw Crystal Palace advancing to the round of 16, but this time around not in Champions League. We have seen the whole playoff series being played between Tuesday and Wednesday, and we have teams that have qualified for the final last round of 16 today. UEFA Champions League will be bringing the seedings, that's talking about the teams that will be going against each other in the coming weeks. So we'll be having those conversations as well. In the EPL, we'll be seeing actions where Wolves will be taking on Aston Villa at home, and that will be around 9 p.m. Nigerian time, as we're entering the latter part of the 2025-2026 EPL season. In basketball, we saw actions. Bao Basketball is around the corner, and it will be kickstarting on February the 27th day of March 2026, and then each group and each team will be playing 15 games. I'll bring you all of the nitty-gritties of those stories. And also in boxing, we have seen that UEFA mixed martial arts, we've seen where Kamaru Usman is coming out to lay claims that yes, he has what it takes and he wants his title back. And also something interesting, ex-rival of Israel Adesanya is congratulating him and praising him for wanting to go back to the octagon and do what he loves doing best. And on an interesting note, Arthur Okafor has finally gotten clearance from FIFA to represent Nigeria. So now, the job now is left for Eric Chill to just send him an invitation for him to come play for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. We have so much to talk about, and we'll be starting off from the home front, and grassroots is very, very key, where we are very interested on Edo crowned the champion of second Niger Delta Games. The second edition of the Niger Delta Games ended in electrifying fashion, which ended yesterday at the iconic Samuel Momodium Stadium in Benin City. Edo State dethroning defending champions Bayelsa to emerge the overall winners. At the close of the competition, Edo topped the medal table with 111 medals, made up of 52 golds, 34 silver, and 25 bronze medals. Delta followed in second place with 39 gold, 29 silver, and 34 bronze medals, giving them a total of 102 medals, while defending champions finished third with 25 gold medals, 24 silver medals, and 26 bronze medals, leaving them with an overall of 75 medals. Akwa Ibom came fourth with 16 gold, 17 silvers, and 22 bronze medals for 55 medals overall, while Abia, Cross River, Edo Rivers, and Imo finished in 5th, 6th, and 7th, 8th, and 9th place respectively. Meanwhile, the relays provided a fittingly dramatic climax to the championship organized by Dunamis Icons Limited and sponsored by the Niger Delta Commission. Although Edo celebrated overall supremacy, Delta once again underlined its dominance on the track by winning 3 of the 4 relay events to cap a commanding athletic campaign. I think we should just leave this track and field things for Delta States, because the likes of Favor, Kebari, Favor Ofile, all of them came out from Delta State. And I think they have this specialty when it comes to 60 meters and 100 meters race, and they have proven that yes, track and field is their thing. Just like we leave long distance running for Kenyans, that's all those marathon races, we leave all of those for the Kenyans, because somehow they always come out on top to win. The one we saw here in Abuja, they won it. The one that happened this year still in Lagos. A Kenyan also won it. So we've seen that Kenyans and long distance races are literally 5 and 6. So congratulations to Edo State for emerging champions of the second edition, and we are looking forward to what will be coming up in the third edition, as the proposed host promised that it's going to be far more better than what we saw in the second edition. Just like what the second edition showed, it capped what Akwa Ibom State did in the first edition, and we will see how this trajectory would continue. The path of the just shall be shining lights bright and bright onto the perfect day, and that's what we are expecting to see in the world of sport. So moving on, South Female Cricket League begins March the 3rd. The countdown is on for the commencement of the 2026 South Female Cricket League, which will be played from March the 3rd to 8 across 3 centers. The league forms part of a busy calendar year for the Nigerian Cricket Federation, as most women's national team players are expected to return to the female Yellow Greens camp for this year's NCF T20 tournament after a 6-day league. 9 clubs, including 2024 winners India Royals, Adola Amazons, Amaton Queens Cricket Club, and Ekpoma Supernova Cricket Club, all from Edo State, will feature in the competition. Others are Delta Force Cricket Club, Uniport Pathfinders, and Dragons Cricket Club from Bayelsa, while Smashers and Rangers Cricket Club are from Akwa Ibom State. Matches will be played across 3 centers, with 2 in Benin City and 1 in Port Harcourt. The format of the league is in a round-robin phase, with the best teams from each center advancing to a Super Series to determine the winner and having a podium finish. This is what is said to be expected, and we are seeing a fully scale improvement and development within cricket. So organizing events like this and having sanitization going around schools will help improve and create more awareness for all of these sporting feats and events that always come up. So more partnership is needed in this bid, so as they can be able to host more activities and more events just like this. So moving on now, the National Shooting Federation unveils National Parachuting Championship for veterans. The Nigerian Shooting Sport Federation has announced plans to host its maiden national shooting sport tournament for veterans and wounded soldiers later on in the year. President of the Federation, Commodore Mohammed Shayai Shetima, made the disclosure during a courtesy visit to the Minister of Defense at the Federal Ministry of Defense here in Abuja, describing the initiative as a major step towards honoring and empowering retired, wounded, and injured military personnel. During the meeting with the Minister of Defense, General Christopher Musa, retired, the Nigerian Shooting Sport Federation president said the tournament, to be tagged General C.G. Musa National Parachuting Trophy Championship, is designed to celebrate the sacrifice and services of Nigerian veterans. He noted that beyond competition, the championship will promote rehabilitations, camaraderie, and grassroots development of shooting sports by leveraging the expertise of former servicemen and women as coaches and technical officials. The Federation also used the opportunity to seek the Ministry's support in assessing a $20,000 equipment grant currently stalled by administrative processes. It further requested assistance to procure modern equipment, rehabilitates key facilities including the Jaji shooting range and shooting range at the MKO Abiola National Stadium, and ensure greater participation of wounded soldiers in national and international events, including the forthcoming National Para Games and Nigerians planned the hosting of the 2029 Invictus Games. In his response, the Defense Minister commended the Federation's initiative, describing it as a fitting tribute to serving and retired personnel, especially those injured in the line of duty. He reaffirmed the importance of sport in national unity and rehabilitation, and assured that the Nigerian Shooting Sport Federation of the ministry fully assured the Federation of the Ministry's full support and secures the approvals of resources needed to successfully host the championship. So Interesting to see that they've gotten the backing, and the former man that is always in his proper regalia has changed the tires now to kaftan. Talking about CG, Musa retired, has thrown his weight behind these individuals, and we've seen that yes, he is someone that loves sporting activities so much, and with all of these recent initiatives that has been created by the Shooting Federation, we're expected to see a whole lot more happening. So moving on now away from shooting, let's talk mixed martial arts quickly, as Usman Kamaru makes lightweight title claim. He's ready to get back into the octagon and get his title back. Former UFC welterweight champion Kamaru Usman has made a bold case for a shot at Islam's Makhavic's welterweight title, insisting he has proven he can still compete with the best and the best in the division. Usman, nicknamed the Nigerian Nightmare, returned to winning ways at UFC Atlanta last June with an anonymous decision victory over Buckler, ending a 3-fight losing streak following Islam's move to welterweight and subsequent title win over Jack Dalla at UFC 322 last November. Usman threw his name into the contention for a title shot. Speaking on the Pound for Pound podcast, the 38-year-old made his intentions clear. Islam himself appeared receptive to the idea in a separate interview with Red Corner MMA, describing Usman as his toughest potential welterweight challenger and dismissing other contenders as untested. So, Kamaru Usman is getting back into the ring, and he might defeat Islam. But Islam is someone that is very, very powerful pound for pound. He can wrestle you on the floor, he can punch you, and he can stand on his feet and then throw jabs very, very well. He's also good with his right hand, and he gives knockout punches. So we'll see how this will pan out. But Kamaru Usman, someone who has experience, he has won the title twice, and he held it for 3 whole years, defending it, not just holding, but this time around defending it in different scorecards. And then we coming out to see him wanting to get back again. I think Islam is going to give him the opportunity. Islam has also affirmed to the fact that yes, Kamaru Usman is a tough guy, he's a beast, and he would want to, be in the cage with him, and then we will see who would come out victorious. Moving on now, still talking mixed martial arts. Ex-rival praises Adesanya for taking risks. Ex-UFC middleweight champion Darius has praised former two-time champion Israel Adesanya for taking on raising contender Joe Parfrey, describing the decision as a mark of true warrior spirit. Adesanya, who is on a 3-fight losing streak, faces Parfrey as the UFC settler on March the 28th in what is being viewed as a significant risk given the gap in ranking between the two fighters. Darius Plus, who twice defeated Adesanya, said he has nothing but respect for the move, putting his reputation on the line to fight an up-and-coming guy that he doesn't need to face. He goes out there, and he said he's excited to see how he's going to take on that challenge. Still moving on away from the fight itself, Adesanya has spoken cordially about how close the end of his career is. The 36-year-old revealed on his YouTube channel that he can now see that the finishing line, he can see the finishing line with no more than 10 fights remaining, and the 2027 as a likely retirement year for him. So looking at it now, yes, it gets to a point where your body will tell you can't take all of those punches, all of those kicks, all of those elbows anymore. And then Israel Adesanya is getting to that point. And it's good that he's saying it, and he is someone who has made series of investments in, different outing, and retirement would definitely look good for him. He might also want to start up his own gym and maybe partner with Kamaru Usman with the fights that he always hosts here in Africa. So we'll see how all of this pans out as these individuals are getting set to get into the cage. First, Israel will be getting into the cage come March the 28th, and then Kamaru Usman, a date is yet to be set for his own outing. So we'll see how all of this pan out for this set of individuals. So moving on now, let's talk basketball. Basketball African League Season 6 tip-offs for March the 27th in South Africa. The Basketball African League has announced the 12 teams and group phase schedule for 2026 Basketball African League season, which will tip off on a Friday, March the 27th at the Sunbet Arena in Pretoria, South Africa. The league's sixth season will feature top 12 clubs from 12 African countries playing a total of 42 games across the Kalahari Conference group phase from March the 27th to Sunday the 5th of April in Pretoria, while the Sahara Conference phase from Friday, April the 24th to Sunday, May the 3rd at the Prince Molu complex in Rabat, Morocco, and the playoffs and the finals from Friday, May the 27th, from Friday, May the 22nd to Sunday, May the 31st at the BK Arena in Rwanda. 12 teams include Dar City, the first ever BAL participant from Tanzania, first team BAL participant JC Kings from Cote d'Ivoire, Marktown Flyers from Nigeria. Yesterday we had Thomas, one of the players, the point guard from Marktown Flyers, was here with us, and we had conversations ahead of this game. They won the Nigeria Basketball League for the 2024-2025 season, and now that's granted them automatic qualification into playing in Basketball African League. We've seen Rivers United, Rivers Hoopers, I beg your pardon, who have gone to this competition 3 times in a row, but this time around there's a change in the narrative. We're seeing a different team. We'll see how well Marktown Flyers would advance in playing with these guys. Moving on now, Johannesburg Giants, that's from South Africa, and Club Africa, that's from Tunisia. That's talking about the 2024 BAL Championship champions from Pito de Luan in Angola, and then only team to have qualified for the all 6 BAL season, and 2023 BAL champions Al Ahly of Egypt. This season, the National League champions from 7 countries, Angola, Egypt, Morocco, Nigeria, Rwanda, Senegal, and Tunisia, automatically qualify for the BAL Championship. The other 5 teams qualified through the road to BAL qualifying tournament conducted by FIFA Africa across continent from October to December 2025. So we're seeing that the teams are increasing, and then the games now are going to be played in different countries. 3 countries now, South Africa, Rabat, Morocco, and then the final will be in Rwanda, Kigali. When BAL started earlier, all of the games were being played in Rwanda, but now it's evolving, and then it's touching other parts of Africa as well. And then the teams as well will be increasing, and then we'll get to see how deep this league will be going into, and how these talents will keep getting discovered. So moving on now, away from that, let's talk the round leather ball, which is football. As pre-WAFCON friendlies, Falcons get ready for Lionesses as Ajibade and other 16 others host first training section. Captain Rashidat Ajibade and 16 other players are already in the Super Falcons Hilton Hotel in Cameroon ahead of their 2 international friendly matches between Nigeria and Cameroon's senior women's national team, which will be happening next week. I think they should be having one this weekend, and then the other next week, Tuesday. Both matches have been scheduled for the military stadium, which will happen tomorrow. Yes, I know there will be a match tomorrow, which is Saturday, the 28th of February, and the other second leg will be Tuesday, 3rd of March, respectively. The 2 teams are using the games to attain excellence from the shape ahead of the participation in the 14th Women's African Cup of All Nations taking place in Morocco from March the 17th to the 3rd of April 2026. Cup holders and 10 times champions Nigeria will contest in Group C of the final tournament alongside Zambia, Egypt, and debutants Malawi, with their first match coming up against Malawi on March the 18th in Casablanca. 2026 runners-up, Cameroon are up against Ghana, Mali, and debutants Cape Verde in Group D, with their first match against Mali on March the 18th still. So in fires, all of this will be happening in Morocco. So the Super Falcons are looking very good, but my problem now is really having 16 persons. So we see, though, as More players are expected in camp today, but now, will they really play? That's something Magu will have to find out for himself. So we'll see how all of this pans out. But do I have faith and do I believe in this team that they can go all the way and retain their championship? Yes, I think they can do that. So we'll see how all of this pans out, starting from the friendly matches that will be played tomorrow. But I think they would have gotten a more tougher side, maybe a team like Morocco, to play that friendly match with against, because they tested them in the previous African Cup of All Nations, and then the Super Falcons almost lost, but somehow Esther Okoronkwo, the entire team came back and they were able to defeat Morocco 3-2, and then winning their 10th African Cup of All Nations Women's Championship. So moving on now, FIFA declares Okonkwo for Nigerian duty. Interestingly, finally, Arthur Okonkwo made his declaration that yes, I want to represent Nigeria, I want to play with Nigeria, and finally FIFA has granted him his heart desire. West Ham goalkeeper Arthur Okonkwo has been cleared by FIFA to represent Nigeria. The 24-year-old is now eligible for selection ahead of the March international windows, where the Super Eagles will compete in a 4-nation invitational tournament in Amman, Jordan. Nigeria will face Iran on March 27 before taking on host Jordan 4 days later at the Amman International Stadium. The team is expected to open camp on March the 24th. Okoronkwo's clearance comes amid uncertainty surrounding first-choice goalkeeper Stanley Nwabali, who is currently without a club. FIFA approved the goalkeeper's switch of allegiance from England to Nigeria in January 2026, concluding the eligibility process. Born in London to Nigerian parents, Okonkwo represented England at the youth level between 2015 and 2019, featuring for the under 15, under 16, under 17, and under 18 teams, respectively. His decision followed discussions with Super Eagles head coach Eric Chill during the Unity Cup in London last year. However, administrative procedures ruled him out of the 2025 African Cup of All Nations in Morocco. The former Arsenal goalkeeper has been a regular for Wrexham this season, stepping in after Danny Ward sustained an elbow injury, and he has been very, amazing in goal. Now, there is something that is concerning, right, about these friendly matches that the Super Eagles of Nigeria want to play. Fans have asked questions. Why Jordan and Iran? Why not pick a team that is, I think, almost at the same caliber as the Super Eagles? Like, pick a stronger team. Maybe pick up a Spanish team, maybe Brazil, Germany. Yes, a team that would actually test the Super Eagles. That's what fans are calling for. A lot of persons are not happy. Jordan is not a footballing nation. Jordan is not a sporting nation. A lot of persons have argued that Iran also is not a sporting nation per se, but teams like Spain, Brazil, Portugal, Netherlands, those are the teams that the Super Eagles are meant to test themselves with ahead of the World Cup. But there is nothing that's actually happening. But from the standpoint now and how everything is looking, I think Jordan and Iran will benefit more from this friendly based on the qualities of guys that they'll be going up against. Based on you understand what I'm saying. The caliber of individuals that the Super Eagles have, obviously, on any day can be able to beat a Jordan and an Iran team. So that's never up for a conversation. But next time, what people are saying is, football fans are calling for is for the Super Eagles of Nigeria to test themselves with teams that would, push them to the limit and help them get better. But all the same, it's so nice to have Arthur join the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Okay. It's nice for FIFA to clear Okonkwo to, want to play for Super Eagles. I'm talking about Stanley Nwabali, whose contract expired with Chippa in South Africa. He's still yet to get a team. Will he go into retirement? We don't know. He's still young. He's still in his prime. We're expecting to see that maybe a team from Europe in the next transfer window would come, sweep him away, or he might just, find another team. We're just hoping he finds another team, or whatever he decides to do, whether continue football or just relax, we'll keep supporting him. So moving on away from that, let's talk Conference League, as we saw Crystal Palace battle into Conference League last round of 16. Crystal Palace moved into the UEFA Conference League last night, last 16, with a 2-0 win over Mostar, while Fiorentina survived a huge scare against Joalin Boskin last night. Still, Palace were held to a disappointing 1-1 draw by Borussia side in the first leg of their playoff tie last week, but Oliver's team avoided an embarrassing exit thanks to goals from Marcus Lucas and Evan in the playoff second leg at the Short Park, playing their first European knockout tie in the main stage of the tournament. Palace 3-1 aggregate victory eased the pressure on Under Fire side. After a poor recent run in the Premier League and a stunning FA Cup exit against 6th-tier Mansfield, Gaslier, who has confirmed he will leave at the end of the season, had been subjected to a chant of his sacking. Gaslier earned some breathing space as Palace struck in the 36 minutes and Adams' free kick outlooks the defender, headed home from a very close range, and then this trajectory has actually helped Crystal Palace advance further and a little bit of breathing space for the coach. We'll be bringing you highlights of another game that we saw where Nottingham Forest fell to Fenerbahce, where they were defeated 2-1, and also be bringing you the highlights of the goals that we saw in the Champions League playoff series, and then we'll look more to have conversations around those goals. Now, quickly, let me bring you up to speed with the Champions League round of 16, as Real Madrid, Chelsea, Arsenal to discover opponents later today. The draw for this season's round of 16 in Champions League will be conducted, like I mentioned, later today. All 8 teams that went through the playoffs route were confirmed in the midweek. Seeding teams top 8 in the league phase are Arsenal, Bayern Munich, Liverpool, Tottenham, Barcelona, Chelsea, Sporting CP, and Manchester City. Unseeded teams, knockout playoffs round winners are Real Madrid, Paris Saint-Germain, Newcastle United, Atletico Madrid, Atlanta, Bayern Leverkusen, Galatasaray, and Bodo Glimt. The teams in each seeding pair are drawn into one of 2 positions in the round of 16 against the relevant winners of the knockout phases playoffs, whose position is determined by the knockout phase playoff draw. The last 16 draw will start around 11 a.m. GMT, and the features will be played from March the 10th to 11th and March 17th to 18th. You all understand that? Yes, in the first week and then in the second week. So that's how we will be seeing all of that, and that's how it will be happening. So fingers are crossed, teams are waiting. Arsenal looking very, very good this season, but we will see. We've always seen Arsenal look very good, but at the end of the day, their fans get to be disappointed. So we'll see how all of this will happen. Will PSG retain or go all the way? Will Real Madrid come back as big dogs that they are when it comes to UEFA Champions League and win this one? We don't know now. All fingers are crossed, and as we await the draws of the matchup that will be seen from the 10th and 11th of March, and also the matchups will be seen from the 17th and the 18th of March. So quickly now, let's bring you the highlights of the goals that we saw in the playoff rounds of the second leg for the UEFA Champions League. So here are the highlights.